All right, I think we're gonna do this.
What are we, in fact, exactly doing?
We're in the middle of it right now. That's for sure. This is a Merry Monday morning.
It is.
Merry Monday.
It is
Merry Monday morning.
Merry Monday
Great.
morning. It's a little
people.
overcast, but
A little overcast.
beautiful. The birds are chirping.
It's also Sunday to keep up with production schedule.
Yeah, production.
That's
but
why.
we can't tell
That's
them
why
that.
it's
It's
Merry
actually
Monday.
it's Monday though. It's Monday.
I'll just cut that
Good
out.
morning. Good morning. It's 7
Merry-
a.m. Your alarm just went off.
Merry Monday morning. Am I talking way too loud? Hello.
They're definitely deaf. You probably should. I mean, they're trying to get up. I mean,
Hang on a second.
might be a
Yeah,
good alarm.
yeah, it might be good. Yeah, let's
we
just
gotta
be
we
loud.
gotta get
Let's just
lots
be loud.
of
Who cares?
violent just get up. Let's go. The day's starting. It's Monday.
Come here.
Let's talk about Monday mornings, huh? Are you a fan of Monday mornings?
Am I a fan of Monday mornings? Yeah. Yeah, I like waking up on Monday morning and
Just-
doing a little bit of a stretch.
A little stretch,
I like
a little
starting
yoga.
with Yep. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
definitely. I'm a big fan of the yoga. A lot of people have bad opinions about Mondays, you know?
It's because people like they like the weekend too much, and they
Yeah,
don't
that
want to
is-
go
that is
back.
true. They do
They
like
want to
the
go back to
weekend.
work.
So is this is our podcast for the people who party too hard on the weekend? Are we the Monday morningers who are waking up and like, man, I need a pickup, so I'm gonna listen to Merry Monday Mornings.
Are we for the partiers or are we for the people that are already enjoying Monday morning?
That is true. We could be for everyone and everyone.
We're probably for the
everything.
partiers because if you're really enjoying Monday morning, you're not out there
We are
doing this.
You know,
Well,
fresh out
this
of
is what
college.
we're doing. Making this thing right here. Now
Yeah,
we're just being elitist here.
that's
Can't
right.
can't do that.
That is right. Now what do we talk about?
I don't know. It doesn't matter. You just talk about whatever. So here's one of the things we're going to talk about right now. You want to hear a crazy news story? There's this thing called a tropical storm that's going to hit
Tropical storm.
North Carolina.
Like a hurricane?
Yeah, kind of like a
Like
hurricane.
in North Carolina.
Yeah.
And
His name is Arthur.
Arthur.
Arthur the hurricane. Well, he's not a hurricane yet. He's a tropical storm. But he's the first one of the year. Welcome to 2020.
So what? So we're gonna have the waters and the storms and the floods. We're gonna have the famines and the diseases and the bugs. And then I mean, what's next? What's next? I think famine next. I'm going with famine. What are you putting your money on there?
I want to put my money on tanks rolling up on California.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
That'd be cool. And then what? Like Civil War?
We're
talking like
less of a civil war, more of an invasion.
Invasion.
Yeah.
And then like
Probably from the Canadians.
right. And they're gonna say you have to stay in your house and wear a mask forever, and you have no free will.
Who, the Canadians? They took their guns away? I don't believe that.
Canada hasn't had guns for a while.
What?
Yeah.
No way.
How long's it been?
Dude,
What
get,
year did
they
Canada
have more
get their
hunters up there
guns
than,
taken
than we
away?
have.
Yeah,
they
they
got,
can-
they
They
got
have,
fucking,
like, mad
they got
permits.
French mobs
Like,
in
mad-
Canada.
French
I don't even
mobs.
know. It would be so much of a hassle. I can't even imagine the hunting companies that actually travel airlines with their firearms. Are they well known? Is it okay? That has to be like a hard travel going.
I've actually been on a
They don't
plane
have
where
their own
somebody did that.
planes
I was
Right.
oh yeah, I,
with
I,
a hunter.
yeah.
Yeah.
There were two guys. They both had like rifles with them, and they put them underneath the plane. But here's the crazy thing: was they overbooked the flight because I guess airline companies do that to try to hedge their bets. That way they don't lose money on people skipping out on
Makes
seats.
sense.
So they overbooked the flight. 2 people couldn't fly, and they had to leave 2 people's luggage behind. So they left me and my friend's luggage behind.
Now, how did you
And then
guys get
left the
chosen
two.
for that?
I don't
You
know.
just got randomly chosen. You
I-
and your buddy, they're like, "F you, we're leaving your luggage back at the plane."
I guess so. But then they left these 2 hunters back, but they still sent their guns on the plane. So I can't imagine how difficult that would have to be to deal with. Like some guns just show up somewhere and there's nobody to claim them. It's a little weird.
What would
I
happen?
would be pissed.
What would happen?
I would
The
be
government
pissed.
takes the guns.
Yeah,
They just confiscate the guns. But I mean, no one's gonna leave. That's the thing. No one's gonna leave a gun. They're like, oh, I'm in New York. They put my guns in New Mexico. That's it. We're getting on the plane. We gotta go get the guns.
Well, at least if
they're
they're
not
in New
leaving their
Mexico, they're
guns,
there.
you know? Like, that's not like something that just gets left. You think you would travel cross country to get to, a couple firearms back.
We went from Baltimore into Toronto, so it also crossed customs.
Whoa.
I couldn't imagine the debacle that guy must have been into. And the other thing that we had to deal with was we scheduled our flights too close to each other.
Mm-hmm.
So whenever we got into Toronto, we had a layover there in Toronto, wherever we would get on another plane. That plane was like 20 minutes away from the plane that we were on landed, and we had to go through customs. It was a big pain in the ass.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I've never flown before. I don't even know about airports.
They suck.
They do suck.
It's hard for me to even picture it sometimes. I just have to like think about movies. I'm almost 23 and I've never been on a plane now. What, you took, how many flying lessons have you taken?
2.
You've actually flown a plane.
Yeah.
And how many times have you flown in a plane?
I don't know.
A handful.
Yeah.
Huh.
Enough.
I have a passport. I planned on traveling for some reason and got a passport, and then I never traveled.
Well, they're pretty cheap.
What, passports?
Yeah, like the
It's like
$140
$100.
for 10 years.
I think you did fly before.
I
I've
didn't.
flown 4.5 times.
4.5? How do you fly 1/2 the time? You got on the plane and got kicked off the plane?
No, or either 4.5 or 9. I've flown 9 times.
9 times? I've
Well,
definitely
like
flown
four,
more than
4
more than 9
round
times.
trips and 1 just
Oh,
down.
yeah. Well, if it's a round trip, then yeah. I guess it counts as leaving in.
I bet I can figure out how
Coming.
many times I've flown.
So 8. So I've flown 8 plus I've flown 1 time down to the
You're counting
beach.
round trips? So like times 2, right?
So 4. I've flown 4
4 round
trips
trips.
and 1 just down to Myrtle Beach. I've flown down to Myrtle Beach.
So that's 9.
And then we drove back. Yeah, 9.
Right.
Okay, so I've
I've
taken.
gotten on a plane 9 times.
I don't even know how many. Dude, I've been on a
You've
plane
had 9
way
successful
more
landings.
times than that. I've probably been on a
9
plane like at least 30
9
times.
liftoffs,
30?
9
At least
landings.
30.
What is the percentage of like airplane accidents
Pretty low.
compared to the percentage of every time car accidents?
Super low.
Right, like people they're so easy to get into a car, but they're like, oh, I'm scared to get into a plane. I think it's just because you don't hold your own life. And when you step in a car and go behind a wheel, you recognize that I am the person behind this wheel, and if I get in a car accident and die, it's because of my fault. And I'm okay with that. But I'm not okay with getting into a plane where there's some other person flying that could just kill me and I can do absolutely nothing about it. You know, you kind of are putting your life in. I mean, I guess anytime you ride with anyone, jump in an Uber, a taxi, you kind of are putting your life in their hands.
I can't imagine what flight instructors have to go through whenever like
Yeah, but
they have like a
but
new
even
person.
if you got in a car crash, you still have a chance. If you get in a plane crash, you're very well safe.
They're pretty. If you get in a plane crash, your
Unless it's
likelihood
all
of
landing.
living is extremely low.
Extremely low.
Yeah, but your likelihood of getting in a plane crash is super low compared to your likelihood of getting in a car crash.
Who's got statistics? Hey,
Someone
Coy,
could bring
pull up
that
some
up.
statistics for us here.
Bring it up.
I want a percentage of deaths. I want deaths per car accident and per plane accident per year.
I looked it up. The statistics are a little hazy. They're
Probably.
yeah.
Probably.
Yeah.
The other thing is, if a plane, like you said, the percentage is high, and also there's a lot more people in a plane than there is in a car. But also there's more cars than planes.
There's
I'm
a higher
curious.
percentage of plane accidents or single engine small crafts.
Right. That makes sense.
Yeah, a bunch of like sport,
You
like
know,
joyriders.
Right, they take out
Fly a plane because they
granddaddy's
can.
plane because they have an airport next to them, but they didn't give proper, look around. They got bolts loose or something. I'm sure that happens.
Bolts loose on a plane.
Like, like some just there's such
There's
I mean,
definitely
we know that
people
there's a
flying
procedure
around
to,
stuff that they shouldn't
right,
be
there's
flying
a procedure
around.
to go through before you get in a plane to deem if it's flight worthy. We talked about that.
Yeah, there's the FAA has to inspect your airplane to make sure that it's
Right, and then before
functional.
you even get in your plane, you go through steps of checking things, right?
Yeah,
like
that's
around the plane.
that's like the
to look
first.
at-
That's what you do
car
before you
crash
even
is
start up the plane.
All right, we got
You
statistics.
know how you don't do that on cars.
Right.
And plane is 1 in
What?
205,000.
What is the statistic?
1 in
1
102.
in 102 for car crashes.
Plane is 1 in 205,000.
And plane is 1 in 205,000.
So it's that. So what's
not
that
even
for every trip?
close.
Yeah,
Like 0.0000000.
that's so low. That's such a low statistic.
That's your percentage of dying?
Yeah.
Right. But still, people are going to be scared to get in airplanes but drive like maniacs every single day of their life.
I mean, it's 0.08% chance you're gonna.
Well, I think part of the other reason that like people are so afraid of the airplanes are because you're on 3 planes of motion instead of 2.
True.
Because on a car you can't go up and
Up
down.
and down, right.
On a plane you can't do that.
You're getting some height.
Yeah,
But
you can't go backwards in a plane
what
though.
if it's let's get deeper. What if this
Slap that bitch in reverse.
backing up. Put the plane in
That's
reverse.
above 0.5%.
What if the reason is actually that people feel that like I can't get on a plane, I'm scared of a plane because it would happen to me. If there would be that 1% of plane crashes that would happen to me.
That's just the one person.
Right, they're
you
like
think
that definitely that percentage would be. What if they're just that, that's their attitude going into it.
Well, then they're probably gonna freak out whenever the plane starts taking off.
Probably those are those people.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's definitely crashing.
Oh, you need the bag. You need the bag. Yeah, you
Yeah.
need the bag.
Oxygen masks are dropping. How many parachutes are there on planes? Is there parachutes on
I
planes?
don't think they
like
put
commercial?
parachutes
I
on
don't
commercial
do it.
jets now.
I don't even do it.
No, couldn't imagine that.
Why couldn't we implement that? I'm sure people would feel a lot safer if we could implement that.
You're going how fast and you're jumping out of a plane.
One of the new things they're toying around with is
The wind's fucking you up.
they've been like toying around with a
You just have to have the seats.
with the
that-
detachable
How fast
fuselage.
Plane's going.
That's why they make the seats shoot so fast in the plane, so it changes your direction. That's why.
No, you're getting. No, that's why
They do it.
That's why they.
They have ejector seats
They're
with
going
with
you're
parachutes.
Going so fast, though,
In a commercial jet, you're not going as fast as in a fighter jet, though.
In a fighter jet,
You're
when,
going
when
way
you
faster
eject,
in a
half
fighter
the
jet.
time their legs get broken.
Right.
Because
they're
because
getting
that's how
limbs
fast the
broken and
wind
stuff.
is. That they're yeah.
That's
so-
why they shoot you out so hard to try to change your direction,
No.
so you don't get. Yeah, that's why they shoot
you're
it out
going
so
straight
fast.
up. That has nothing to
It
do
changes your direction, though.
Yeah,
You're
no,
going
no,
forward,
no.
or if you're
All
going
it does
down
is push
and
you
it's-
straight up. It just pushes you straight up away from the plane,
Right.
and then
So you get away from the plane.
yeah, it doesn't change your direction.
Well, it has
You're
to.
still
It's
going
propelling.
750 miles an hour straight into the wind. You're just going up and then 750 miles an hour straight into the wind
What are you
too.
talking about?
Being ejected out of a
Ejector-
fighter jet.
Ejector seats in a fighter jet. I just feel like with
Can you imagine what it would feel like to be hit with 750 miles an hour worth
just
of wind?
right in your face, just wind.
Yeah, it breaks your legs. It literally will break your legs.
Your eyelids are folding over back over your head. Your tongue goes over your face.
You don't look good after you're
Your
exposed to that.
Your hair is permanently just pinned back.
Pretty
You look
fucked
like you
up.
just touched an electric fence in the cartoons.
There was
Damn, that's
an accident that happened over the Pacific Ocean, on like some sort of training exercise where they had to do that. They ejected, and the one dude died, and the other guy's legs were all broken and his arms were
Did
broken
die from the wind?
from the
Or
wind.
From the wind.
From
It
the
killed him.
wind. No, yeah,
The
wind.
wind
Yeah, the wind.
Killed him.
Yeah, from
You're
ejecting.
traveling that fast that just the wind. People really pushing the limits out here. God's like, here you can walk. We're like, nah, we're gonna build these things that roll really fast. He's like, come on, just walk. No, actually, we're gonna build these things that fly even faster.
We're not satisfied.
Not satisfied. The wind. We need to go so fast that if this thing fails, the wind is gonna kill us. That's how fast we need to make this fucking thing.
Well, I mean, like, could you imagine just being in, like on a space vessel then? Because you're like, like a submarine, but it's even more hostile than a submarine.
I couldn't. Could you imagine being in the Navy and actually being underwater for like a month at a time?
That'd be.
Could
that'd
you
be,
do it?
No, I
Could you do it? I couldn't do it. I don't think I could do it.
Fuck that shit.
I mean, I could if I was put down there and I had to do it, I would do it. But I'm not like that. That honestly would be a nightmare. That'd be hell. That's
Nuclear
someone's
sub.
hell. Someone's in that place right now. Is stuck in that submarine, and it's just you're just living underwater for the rest of your life. You're stuck there. That's a nightmare. What if the submarine was a beautiful house, a mansion? Could you do that?
You mean that
You're
like,
stuck in this house,
they
but,
could
but
probably
it's a
just change
beautiful, it's a beautiful big mansion. Could you do it? Your whole life, you have to be stuck in a house.
no?
No way. Just be miserable.
I gotta listen to these Cardinals out here.
Right.
That's too nice. That's too nice. You don't get that in a submarine.
People have really detached themselves from being a part of nature and not realizing that we are a part of nature, you know?
Oh yeah,
We really are.
we are nature.
And that's why this coronavirus is kind of waking some people up. We're not treating our planet very well. And, you know, it's kind of falling apart. The system's falling apart. Yeah, listen to these birds.
Dude, listen to them go.
Just listen.
They're jumping one. They're no cap all
Big orgy. Big orgy.
That's a big old bird orgy. You
Here,
love to
take-
see that.
Somebody take this. And then I don't know what you want to do with it, but
Just ask us some questions back
yeah,
and forth.
I mean I
have
don't know. Yeah,
conversation.
it just get
Just how
some
hold it.
additional people into it. So somebody here
It's
just
just going wonderful.
just take
I'm having a
this
great time.
microphone.
We're just talking.
Yeah, I know,
We're
right?
just having good conversation. Marva, wake up, bro.
Yo, dude, wake up. I'm getting
Yeah, bro.
Flick it on. Is it on?
It's on.
Talk into it.
Hello.
Do that
Talk
again.
in.
Hello.
Talk a little louder.
Keep going.
Talk. Just
Hello.
talk.
Beautiful.
Hello.
Now, like you might want to do it a little bit louder than that, or hold it closer to your
Gerbils.
pretty close to your face.
Say again. Talk.
Gerbils.
That's beautiful. Beautiful.
That should
Yes,
work
sir.
fine. That should work just fine.
I can turn the gain up.
He says gerbills.
Now,
Gerbills.
now-
Who the hell
we
is
can
this
talk into
guy?
it now.
Who brings this guy into the conversation?
Who?
Gerbil.
Doesn't matter. We yeah, right. Gerbils. Is that what we're saying right
check,
now?
Check.
Checking with gerbils.
We are Gerbil Gang. That's a good original. Like whoever thought of Gerbil Gang. We're
I did.
we're original.
I did it.
There's no
You're welcome.
when I hashtag Gerbil Gang on social media, it says post with it. No, there's zero. It's just us,
Gerbil gang.
which is kind of cool. So we kind of got that.
Or the Gerbil gang.
Like how many things are that original
GG.
that no one has it? Yeah, we're Gerbil Gang. LDG, Gerbil Gang, Brother Cole. Anyways,
It is about.
so how about this coronavirus, huh?
I don't want to talk about that.
I don't want to talk
That's
about it.
over talked about.
It's just over. It's just
It's
it's
over talked
broken.
about.
Like, what
Yeah.
even is it anymore? It's either you got it or you don't got it, and either you care about it or you don't care about it. It's just like
But you
Yeah.
just have to live your life.
if you're watching the news every day, I'm sure you're still like, the Tanzanian president sent in papa fruit. Ooh, it's not real. Coronavirus fake. Tests are stupid. Something's broken. But whatever, man. You know, it is what it is.
I don't know what's going on. It's too much. Too much to deal with right now.
Whether I put myself into it or not, this just doesn't change. Doesn't change.
No.
Yeah, it's not good to stay in the house that long.
You can't do anything about it at this point. It's just you gotta live your life.
Can we talk about the
Yeah.
economy though? Like, everyone just thinks everything's gonna go back.
Dude, it's
There's so many
fucked,
people
man.
that think things are just gonna. Oh, the economy's gonna be fine. Like, how can it though?
They're saying like
How can it be
40% of everybody that lost their job is going to not get their job back whenever they start turning
40%.
everything back on.
Because all small businesses.
A lot of small businesses went out of business,
they don't have money
and
to keep running.
other companies reduced payroll, and they're going to realize that they don't need these people on their payroll.
Yeah, because they're getting.
How many things are gonna transfer to online now, or at least have that availability?
Tons.
We're gonna this made us
Colleges.
this forced
high
us so much
school.
farther into a technological world.
It did.
In that way, in that
It did.
sense, because that's all gonna evolve now. We have that now. We realize that we could do that. A lot of these jobs we don't have to come into an office and work at. We're actually being more productive now that everyone can stay home and work on their own time.
And people are preferring it too because, for obvious reasons, you get to hang out with your family more often.
So in that sense, it does make the world more technological, but also it gives you more free time, more availability.
And it
more-
allows you to be more connected with the most important people in your life.
Definitely. doesn't force you into like a school place where you're gone and away from everything and kind of detached for 8 hours. You can now still be a part of everything and do your job
Right.
and be able to just
The
do it
one
right from your
issue
pajamas
is,
in your
is
bed.
is not everybody can have such a luxury like that.
That is true.
Not all jobs are able
Right.
to be run
And
from
we
home.
still got the Warriors in Walmart, the Walmart Warriors
Yeah.
stocking their shelves and
Right.
stuff.
Everybody working at grocery store right now. for that
Everyone,
matter.
yeah. You're either in a factory with boxes or in a grocery store with groceries.
Yeah, either one of those.
It's just
Very
what it's come
hard,
to.
busy. Yeah.
Anyways.
And then they canceled all the schools. What's up with that?
So, like, so who's taking SATs now?
I heard that they've been waiving the SAT thing, so that way you can just
You can't even go on visits now.
yeah, right.
You can't even get campus tours. Campuses are shut down.
That's
They're closed.
crazy.
Like, how do you get to see? I want to come here. This is gonna be my new home. For the next
Enrollment
4
levels are
years.
going to be super low next year.
Like, some athletes didn't even get to
Should we just cancel 2020? Should we just cancel it? Just not make us.
play their
Just,
sport. And
We'll redo it
cancel
next year.
yeah, just cancel it. We're just gonna shut the world down for a little bit.
Is this going to be the year of hindsight, where we're like, oh man,
Our
like,
system's
we're
broken.
really
We
looking
need-
back at stuff now?
Right, we need to
Mm.
quit doing the things we're doing. We need to quit charging the things we're charging. We need to shut down mass production, and everyone needs to start just taking care of each other and themselves. I don't know though. We are overpopulated, and we kind of have to live in this way. Everyone's saying the way we're going.
Yeah,
if we
this-
keep
yeah,
multiplying, the world ends in what?
coronavirus
2020
did not fix
when?
the population.
When does the world end scientifically? Like when we multiply too much, if we keep going at this exponential rate. Like there's a time limit, and we're getting closer to it. So we almost have to mass produce. We almost have to mass pollute. We almost have to, overrun the nature that we are supposed to be a part of.
Is that necessary, or is that just for like consumer goods?
Just for consumer goods. I mean, is it necessary? There was actually a homework assignment. It's an online. You can find it. It's an online website that you can interact with, and you can mess with the amount of population. You can mess with the amount of pollution, the amount of forestation. You can do it. There's a slider, and it has realistic and unrealistic. When you slide it too far, it tells you, well, this is realistic. We could cut back to this. This is unrealistic. We need this much pollution because we need this much factory work. And it actually shows you. And no matter what you do, if you keep it in a realistic setting, it gets bad. It multiplies. The world collapses. There's a time limit to the way that we can grow like this and not break.
Oh,
the
certainly,
earth.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Kind of neat. Kind of neat to
How
think
long
about.
is that, though?
How long is that?
How long
I
do
mean,
you
you have to. The statistics can change, but I don't remember what it was. It wasn't maybe 2000. I forget what it was. They did that. What was the Little Dicky song? Save the Earth. They said if we don't change the things we're doing by the year 2000, what did they say? 2080? Did they even say that far? I don't even remember. Listen to the "We Love the Earth" song by Lil Dicky and
LDG.
learn about the Earth and how much life we got left. But anyways, I've been rambling on long enough. I want to take up. I think the Indians. I just want to say I think the Indians had life figured out the best.
The original founding fathers,
The
the Native
original
Americans.
founding fathers, the Native Americans.
If I could have Mount Rushmore done any other way, I would have it as 4 Native American heads going across the top.
Imagine?
I'm thinking Squanto, Sacagawea, Crazy Horse, and
This is the greatest idea I've ever heard.
A Blackfoot chief.
We need a second Mount Rushmore with Indians.
so there
original
actually
founding
is
founder-
there actually
fathers.
is a there is a mountain that they're carving a giant Crazy Horse out of right now.
No way.
Yeah, it's been going on for like the last 10 years.
That's gonna be awesome.
They've been it's bigger than Mount Rushmore.
In the fourth one, they should put up the Indian from the Last of the Mohicans, whatever his name was, just because he was a star, obviously, like one of the better Indians. Or Magua from Last of the Mohicans. Put him up there. He was a warrior. He was a bad guy though, but like we can still love him. I
He
think.
got bodied.
Yeah, they did get bodied. But the Indians, they had it figured out. The way that they realized that they were one with the earth and everything had a life, like, they killed a buffalo and they had a ceremony. They had a ceremony for a buffalo where they danced and sung and they cooked it over a fire and they had a feast. And you look at all these pictures and paintings of Indians over top a kill, a deer they killed with their head down, kind of just thanking the earth for supplying them this life and giving them this fuel, this food to survive. And they realized that it had a life and they had to take their life for their life to continue, and they respected that. And now we just mass kill all these chicken and cows, and we just eat it. We don't even care. We don't understand where it came from. We don't understood we were killing something for it. We're not in touch with what they were.
Yeah, and that's like really, really kind of what's being exposed right now with the way how everything's going in the world. I mean, you see like Tyson is having a lot of their chickens killed off because they don't have the personnel to be able to take care of them because they all have coronavirus or this or that or the other thing right now. And it's kind of like maybe we shouldn't have been doing this in the first place, and that's kind of, like, oh, shit, all this food has to go to waste. But on top of that is you're like have to pointlessly kill all these living creatures. And they're not going to even be realized as food for somebody at some point now. They're just going to all go to waste.
I mean, back to overproducing. I mean, how many chickens have we killed? And how is we continued. We've continued, and everyone is still eating chicken.
Yeah.
So, I mean, how much are we overproducing? Because we're surviving right now, and all these companies are already shutting down. Are we going to run out? Is there going to be a shortage?
It seems like...
Or can we sustain at this level of chicken that's right now?
So whenever I went to the grocery store yesterday, I didn't see any chicken except for like 3 of the bulk packages of chicken.
The bulks, yeah.
Yeah.
I think that was the same last time I was there. What time were you there, though?
Pretty late.
Right.
Yeah.
Pretty late. They're always
which
out
makes
of the
sense.
individual
It
chickens,
would probably have more in the morning.
Right.
But the fact that they're out of that stuff at the end of the day
that is true.
Is enough of a foreshadow to what I think is to come in the future.
You're someone that usually eats chicken, but is now not didn't have the opportunity to get chicken this time at grocery shops.
Yeah.
You're not eating chicken now.
Right.
So how many people out there are not eating chicken now?
Or like beef.
Or beef.
I saw that the price of beef is coming up pretty significantly. The price of eggs has come up pretty significantly. And it seems like...
how much are eggs now for a dozen?
I think they're like about $2 if you get the cheap ones.
Yeah.
And then from there they go up depending on...
Gas is super low right now.
Gas is cheap.
Low.
Yeah.
Is cheap.
Yeah, that's the thing is right now we have consumer goods are falling, but necessity items are increasing in price.
Yeah, oil was actually negative money for a while. They were giving it away.
Oil? They were giving oil away.
They weren't giving it away. They were the futures contracts were negative, which meant that it was going to cost them less money to pay somebody to take it off their hands than it was for them to purchase storage for it. So in other words, the United States had as much oil as we could possibly have because nobody's burning it, and we were buying it at the same rate before we stopped burning it so much. And then our reserves filled up, and we're like, yeah, we don't have anywhere to put that oil. We can't take it. We don't know what to do with it. So then on top, so the way how like Saudi Arabia, Russia, and a couple other OPEC nations responded to that was they decided to start cutting production back. So they laid off a lot of oil workers and mineral extraction paste industry out in those nations, and now they're going to keep scaling back production until the market value reaches a price that they want, so that way they can still have it to be profitable for them. Should start a war. Could totally start a war.
How does the price initially fall off? Why did coronavirus make gas prices lower?
Because people stopped driving.
So they stopped driving, so they stopped paying the gas companies for gas.
Yeah, so people stopped going to the gas pump to fill up their car. So gas companies weren't buying oil or gas companies weren't buying gas from oil refineries who didn't buy oil from the oil reserves,
Right.
who didn't purchase oil from OPEC because the reserves were full.
So what about the drillers? Are they still? Like,
yeah, exactly. Same situation. There's nowhere to put it.
So are they even?
So the
still,
anybody?
even the workers aren't working now.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. No, they're
so then
laying off.
The company is losing money for the
Exactly.
rig companies because
Exactly.
they're not.
Because
yeah.
it's not
They're not
profitable.
working,
It's
right.
not profitable to pump oil right now because it's too cheap, and there's nowhere to put it.
There's such repercussions of such small things. We get put on lockdown. Like, yeah, we're just put on lockdown, but so many things got affected because our world changed. One thing, we've depended so much on our life to be consistent. It's so hard to change things. One small little change has such a vast ripple because we've tightly knitted the world to perform in this specific way. To perform Pacific.
Yeah, the global supply chains were dependent on the demand and supply, how they functioned prior to this virus, and that whole thing threw a monkey wrench into the entire system by laying people off, by cutting demand back, by scaling back everything, literally turning off huge portions of the world overnight, completely changing the way how everything functions. Interesting stuff.
Interesting. Very interesting. I'm ready to go for a bike ride.
Yeah, we got a half hour.
This was wonderful.
All right.
I had a great time. Before we're done with this, I just want to say that I had a
This is excellent.
wonderful time. I hope that you all have a merry Monday morning.
Merry
if
Monday
it is
morning.
a Monday morning, if
That-
it's any other
if
weekday.
It's merry. We're talking about such depressing stuff here.
I mean, if it's a somber Tuesday afternoon, then I hope this makes it a merry Monday morning. Like, just have a merry Monday morning on a Friday night. It's just it's whenever you're watching it. It doesn't
Whenever you're
matter.
watching it.
It doesn't matter.
It's still a merry Monday morning.
This is still America. We still love each other. All right. Any more things to say?
Yeah, like,
Monday.
subscribe, comment,
Share. Tell your friend. Tell your mom.
Don't
tell your
do
grandma.
don't do drugs.
No. Say why to drugs. Say why to drugs.
All right, Alan Watts.